Allah Imla, Allahayna, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Hamashiach, Wa Malakia, Bahashim, Harawat, Kakodash, Barakathum, the water Bible, Bar, Wakwam, Yasharala. Double honor to the apostles, elders, bishops of Great Millstone who teach us daily, and to the men out there teaching the lightwise doctrine and say Shalom. Um, y'all got a Salaki. I just want to say Salaki for this week. About the video posting because I'm having technical difficulties right now. I'm waiting on Microsoft to hit me back and let me know what's going on. But in the meantime, we got to keep doing this work. So I'm trying to play catch up right now. After I record this video, I'm gonna load up the one I did yesterday when I first started having the technical difficulties. So Salakia for that, but let's keep it pushing. I got this article right here. I can't bring up videos because of the software that I'm using right now, but hopefully Microsoft will clear everything up and we'll be back to business as usual once they get that cleared squared away. But I got this article and it's talking about Donald Trump's spiritual advisor. He has been arrested for I think 5 counts of child sex abuse. Wow. Now I'm gonna read the article and then we're gonna get into some scriptures. And then this ain't gonna be a long video, but I just wanted to, put something down for the day. But it says Robert Morris, a Texas megachurch founder and former spiritual advisor to Donald Trump, was sentenced to 6 months in jail. 6 months, that's all? After pleading guilty on October 2nd, 2025, to 5 felony counts of child sex abuse. He was arrested and indicted in March 2025 after a woman came forward with allegations of sexual abuse that occurred in the 1980s when she was 12 years old. Mm. Why they coming forward so late in life? You know what I'm saying? Key details of the case. Conviction and sentence. Morris, who once served on Trump's Evangelical Advisory Board, see, there go that word again, evangelical. That word is not in the Bible. So what are you people really worshiping? As you can see, we already painting a picture of what they worship. It says, Morris, who once served on Trump's Evangelical Advisory Board, pleaded guilty to charges of lewd or indecent acts with a child. As part of a plea deal, he was sentenced to 10 years, with the first 6 months served in jail and the remainder on probation. See how they just give these people slap on the wrist? How are they not domestic threats? All this, all this child material type stuff. All these mass shootings, church shootings, school shootings. Why are these not on Trump's top priority list? Because he's just like them. So when he's just like them, he doesn't see it as a crime. What does piss off the wicked is the righteous. It's like I said in the video yesterday. Stop believing all these terms. Stop absorbing these terms that they use on the news. This is sorcery. Prime example. When they get on the news and say ICE arresting and detaining migrants, that's not the case because for them to use the word arrest is implying that they broke the law, which they didn't. These are not arrests we're seeing. This is pretty much legal harassment, legal provocation, meaning they can provoke you legally, and legal kidnapping. This is what's going on. Snap out of these spells that they tell you over and over and over and over on the media. It's burnt in your brain. So you repeating these false terms. These are not the cases. These are not arrests and detainments taking place. This is harassment, provocation, which means provoking, and kidnapping. Now, back to this. Yeah, they don't address what needs to be addressed. That's why their kingdom is destined to fail. It says that as a part of the plea deal, he was sentenced to 10 years with the first 6 months served in jail and the remainder on probation. He must also register as a sex offender. Background of the abuse. The charges stem from abuse that occurred in Oklahoma between 1982 and 1985, when Morris was a traveling evangelist, and the victim, Cindy uh, Clemenshire, was a minor. Public admission. Following Clemenshire's public accusation in June 2024, Morris resigned from his church. He admitted to a moral failure but did not intentionally acknowledge the specifics of the abuse. Lawsuit and indictment. After Clemenshire went public with her story, the Oklahoma Attorney General's office opened an investigation. A multi-county grand jury indicted Morris in March 2025. The arrest does not involve Paula White, who was also a prominent spiritual advisor to Donald Trump. These ain't never witches and warlocks because they do nothing in the Bible. They don't teach the Bible the way it's supposed to be taught. All they do is lie. It says this arrest does not involve Paula White, who was also a prominent spiritual advisor to Donald Trump. In February 2025, Trump appointed White to lead the newly created White House Faith Office. Yeah, right. Her appointment drew criticism from some Christian leaders, but she has not been arrested or charged with a crime in connection with this or any or other matters. First of all, women are supposed to be teaching the Bible, so they are already going off. Second of all, it's not for Edomites, so they still going off. Now let's get some scriptures. But these Edomites, they love to play that role like they're all about the Lord, but they're not. They're about the opposite of the Lord, which is wickedness. Let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 11. And we're going to go down to verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Hamashiach. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. See? That's how they parade around like they're men and women of the Lord, but they are the exact opposite. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. They present themselves as angels of light and preachers of the gospel, but they ain't them but wolves and demons in disguise. Now let's get another one. Okay, here we go. Book of Hebrews, chapter 12, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Mm-hmm. Profane means outside the temple. That means the Lord ain't dealing with you. Now let's get this one. This is Psalms chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take it my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee? The Lord just playing with him. He like, why y'all fronting? Y'all know y'all ain't about that life. Y'all with wickedness. Y'all ain't about Y'all ain't about that life for real. Y'all ain't about righteousness. So just stop it. Look at the condition of your country. I don't see any moral guidance. Skip this one. Here we go. Jeremiah chapter 48, verse 10. Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. Now that's not literal. When it means, when it says keeping back the sword from blood, that means you're not telling the people the whole, honest, brutal truth. You don't hold back your sword for nobody. You don't spare nobody's feelings in this thing. That's why everybody can't do what we do, because people spare feelings and lie and coddle emotions. No, this is not the job for you. If you got a problem with being brutally honest, this is not the job for you. Let's get this one. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. And they always trying to find a way to get these people out of trouble. They're always talking about, well, what was he watching? What was he listening to? What kind of video games he was playing? He's mentally ill. No, they ain't got nothing to do with none of that. These people were born wicked. The wicked shall do wickedly. Roughly paraphrasing the scripture. So they're perfect. They're in perfect good health. They just got wicked spirits. That's all. Just leave it at that. I noticed this too. When somebody of another nation besides Edom commits the same crime, which is far in between, they don't try to find excuses for them. They call them all kind of monsters and all this and this and this. Yeah, it is a double standard, obviously. Let's get this one. Psalm chapter 14, verse 1, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool has said in his heart, there is no Yahweh. They are corrupt and have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. So, if the fool says in his heart or his mind, there is no Yahweh, that means that there is no fear. So, if you don't have any fear of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by default, you don't think they exist. Part of you having faith is having fear in Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. You can't truly believe in Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai and not have fear. Those two are very contradictory. It could be one or the other. Either you have fear or you don't. And if you don't have fear and you say you believe in Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, you're just a liar as well. Let's get this one. And this is all basically is roughly freestyle. I got a few scriptures right here, but I'm just going with the spirit right now. So let's roll. Titus chapter 1, verse 16. They profess they know Yahweh, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. You have been rejected by the Lord. Let's go to this one. Book of Nahum. We started this is chapter 3, verse 4. because of the multitude of the Harlem's the Salakia. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that sell of nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcraft. Yeah, this is how they traffic children, even traffic adults. They traffic children through CPS, DHR, adoption agencies. They traffic adults just by straight up kidnapping. And they've been doing this for thousands of years. How do you think we got here? They kidnapped the whole nation of Israelites because they too sorry to build their own. Verse 5, Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. This is very shameful, especially for a president to be involved or being even accused of such acts that he's obviously trying to cover up. And then you wonder why the other nations don't respect the president or this country. There's nothing to respect. Really isn't. Verse 6, And I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vow and will set thee as a gazing stock. That's why the other nations are angry at the United States and laughing at them at the same time. Psalms chapter 10, verse 7. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. I just love the Lord. No, you don't. You don't even know him. He obviously don't know you neither. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Let's get a few more. Let's go to Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 15. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. See, they thought they was cool with it because they haven't got punished in thousands of years for their immoral crimes against humanity. Verse 22. Lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but they that deal truly are his delight. None of these pastors, all these lying ass pastors are abominations to the Lord because they lie to their people. Got the Israelites worshiping false idols and believing fairy tales. All of these lying ass pastors are an abomination. I just read it. Let's get this one. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus or the book of Sirach, chapter 10, verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, all such are all they that dwell therein. Pedo president, pedo preachers, pedos throughout society at an alarming rate. So if your ruler is in doing this, you gonna have the citizens doing this. Let's get First Corinthians. We're gonna get a few more. We close. Chapter 3, verse 19. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yahweh, for it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Just because Esau's running this wicked kingdom and tells you it's cool to do this to children, no, because this is the wisdom of this world, which is foolishness with Yahweh. Matter of fact, they even talk about it a lot in the Talmud. That book that the Tiny Tops truly worship, that's the book they follow, not the Bible. And in that book, it states that um, if a Tiny Top gets down with a 3-year-old, ain't nothing wrong with it. And you wonder why these people messed up mentally, spiritually. But at the same time, they open their lying lips and say that they're the Lord's people. Everything over there moving is an abomination. And the Lord gonna handle them too. It's already bad enough you got these people worshiping false idols. Why you think that thing went down so tragically with the rapture? Because you got all these people wrapped up in these fairy tales. Esau. Go to 2 Peter chapter 2. Deliberate lies. I mean, really. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. The Lord know how to deliver the godly out of temptation and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. That's 6 months in jail, and then the rest of his time on probation. Prime example of how Esau does not he hates punishing his own, and then he wonder why his own people are out of control. He wonder why there's no fear for these repeat offenders, because they know they're gonna get a slap on the wrist, if that. That's why they ain't there. They have no fear, but they about to have it. Let's go to what it is. I think it's Acts. Yeah, Acts chapter 13. This is how Esau moves. This is Acts chapter 13, verse 10. And said, O full of all subtlety and all mischief, thou child of the devil, thy enemy of all righteousness, wilt thou not cease to pervert the right ways of the Lord? The answer is no, because Esau is created to pervert the right ways of the Lord. You got all these. How come none of these priests have been busted in Catholic churches yet? This has been going on for centuries. The little altar boys, yeah. How come ain't none of them in jail, even been arrested? Because this is Esau perverting the right ways of the Lord. Sheep, wolves in sheep's clothing. They've been doing it so long, they got people of our nation doing the same thing. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video on a black pastor, a woman from his church. They had a barbecue at his house, and she asked to use the bathroom. When she went in the bathroom, she saw the black pastor with his son bent over in front of him. Fill in the rest. And she ran up out of there. And she mashed the gas and never went back to that church. Smart woman. Let me get a couple more. What's that script? Yep, these same lying ass preachers up in these churches. First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 11. In those days there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. They think that if they get with the enemy gonna be he gonna show them mercy. No. First of all, if you get down with Esau like that, he doesn't respect you. So how can he show you mercy? This man don't like nobody. Because let him tell it, it's a problem with everybody else. Nothing wrong with him. Everybody else is the problem, not him. See, mind messed up, man. All right, we're gonna get a couple more. We can close. Point is made, Esau. You're not all you tiny tops. You're not the people's. You're not the people of the Lord, and the whole world has found out. And all these lying ass pastors, the world has seen that your whole religion is based in white supremacy. All these Christian and Catholic fairy tales, they are rooted in white supremacy. And now it's over. The whole charade is over. Now it's time for that judgment. The fun is over. All the bull is over. Now it's time for that judgment. Let's get a couple more. I'm about to close for real this time, y'all. That script I'm looking for. Get a couple more. Okay. Joel chapter 2, verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and I am the Lord power, your God, and none else, and my people should never be ashamed. So why are all these people up in here faking the funk like the Lord is with them? Because they're liars. That's why. Call Allah Imlala Hay now Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, Hamashiach, Wa Malakia by Hashem Harawat Wakakwarash, Barakathum, the water Bible Ball Wakwam Yasharala. Shalom.